You say you're tired, but are you? Or are you avoiding what needs to be done? The truth is, most people aren't tired. They're undisciplined. They waste energy on distractions, excuses, and emotions, then wonder why nothing changes. This audiobook isn't here to comfort you. It's here to wake you up. Because your potential isn't lost. It's buried under bad habits, weak choices, and mental noise. You don't need more rest. You need more discipline. Let's rebuild your mind and your life, one decision at a time. Chapter 1. Discipline isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It's not based on mood, emotion, or motivation. Discipline is a choice you make when every part of you wants to quit. It's the decision to show up when it's hard, to keep going when it's boring, and to finish when it hurts. You don't need to feel ready. You need to commit. The people who win in life aren't the ones who always feel inspired. They're the ones who act despite their feelings. Discipline is what bridges the gap between dreams and results. It shows up when motivation runs out, and it stays when comfort begs you to stop. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. You've been trained to wait for the right time, but there is no right time. There's only now, and what you choose to do with it. Every excuse you make is just a delay dressed in logic. You don't need better timing. You need stronger decisions. One choice can change your entire direction. Waiting to feel like it is how you stay stuck. If you only move when it's easy, you'll never grow. Discipline teaches you to move through resistance, not wait for it to disappear. It teaches you that the action comes before the emotion, and that success belongs to those who act, not those who feel. You won't always feel like waking up early. You won't always feel like working out, studying, creating, or grinding. That's the truth. But discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks, what's the mission? And then it acts on that mission, whether you feel like it or not. The greatest transformation happens when you stop treating discipline like a mood and start treating it like a contract, a daily agreement with yourself. Not based on hype, not based on feeling, but based on who you said you wanted to become. Every day you sign that contract with your actions. Feelings come and go. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel lost. Some days you'll feel like giving up. But discipline anchors you. It keeps you grounded in purpose, not emotion. And that's how you move forward. Not by feeling your way through life, but by deciding your way through it. Chapter 2. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is a liar. It tells you you're safe when you're actually stuck. It makes you believe rest is the goal, but what it's really doing is weakening your edge. Growth doesn't live in comfort zones. It lives in pressure, in challenge, in the stretch that makes you uncomfortable. Every time you choose comfort over progress, you trade long-term strength for short-term relief. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they got too comfortable with average, comfortable with excuses, comfortable with just enough. But greatness doesn't grow in soft soil. It demands discomfort. It demands sacrifice. It demands you step out of what's easy and into what's necessary, even when it burns. The gym hurts. Waking up early is hard. Saying no to distractions stings. But those small discomforts are what separate those who want change from those who actually create it. You won't rise by staying relaxed. You rise by facing what others run from. You grow through resistance, not through rest. Comfort gives you just enough pleasure to keep you in place. It numbs your hunger, silences your urgency, and blinds you to your potential. You don't feel the pain of staying the same until it's too late. Until the years pass. Until the dream fades. Until you're left wondering what could have been. Growth will embarrass you before it empowers you. It will challenge your ego, test your limits, and stretch your mindset. It will feel like you're breaking, but you're actually rebuilding. That's the price of leveling up. Not everyone is willing to pay it, but those who are change everything. Your brain wants to protect you, not grow you. It's wired for survival, not success. That means it'll push you toward comfort, routine, and safety. But if you listen to that voice too long, you become soft. Growth demands you override that system. Discipline must lead, not instinct. There's no growth without tension. Think of muscle. It only builds when it's torn, pushed, and stretched beyond comfort. Your character, your habits, your mind, they're no different. They grow when challenged. They evolve when you stop choosing ease and start embracing the hard road. Comfort loves company. It will surround you with people who say, "It's okay to slow down, you've done enough," or "Don't push too hard." But listen closely. Those voices are not your future. They're your limitation. Choose to walk with those who stretch you, not those who soothe your weakness. It's not about grinding endlessly with no rest. It's about knowing when you're resting because you need recovery, and when you're hiding in comfort because you're avoiding growth. One strengthens you. The other slowly destroys your potential without you even noticing. Comfort is quiet, but it's deadly. It doesn't scream failure. It whispers it. One skipped habit, one more excuse, one more day off, until it becomes a lifestyle of settling. Don't let that happen. Make discomfort your ally. Let it sharpen you, refine you, and transform you. Every time you feel resistance, you're being invited to grow. Lean into it. That resistance is the signal you're entering a new level. It's not a warning. It's an opportunity. Don't run from it. Use it. Let it build you into the person you keep saying you want to be. You won't grow by staying where it's easy. The life you want is waiting on the other side of uncomfortable choices. Choices that test you, break you, but ultimately make you. Don't worship comfort. Outgrow it, and you'll discover just how powerful you really are. Chapter 3. Excuses are just delayed regrets. Excuses are clever lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. They sound logical, they sound reasonable, but at their core, they're just fear wrapped in language. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I don't have time," what you're really saying is, "I'm choosing to stay the same," and one day those excuses will come back, not as protection, but as regret. Regret never shows up right away. It waits, it's patient. It lets you believe your excuse. It lets you relax while others work. And then, years later, it knocks. It whispers, "You could have been more. You should have tried harder." Excuses make you feel safe now, but they always collect interest later. The most dangerous thing about excuses is that they sound smart. "I need more time. I'm too tired. It's not the right season." But all those words are just delays, distractions from the truth. If it mattered enough, you'd find a way. If it was urgent, you'd act. Discipline doesn't wait for the perfect time. It creates progress with what's available. Every excuse is a decision to stay soft, a decision to avoid effort, a decision to protect comfort over growth. And every time you choose that route, you train your brain to take the easy way out. Over time, it becomes automatic, not because you're incapable, but because you've practiced avoiding the hard. The people who make progress don't have fewer excuses. They just ignore them. They feel the same doubts, the same fears, the same resistance, but they act anyway. That's the difference. Success is less about talent and more about refusing to give in to the stories that stop you. Excuses steal your power by shifting blame. "I couldn't do it because of them. I failed because of the system. I can't because of my past." But the more you blame, the less you build. And the less you build, the more powerless you feel. Power returns the moment you say, "No more excuses. It's on me." Your future self is watching you right now. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, he sighs. Every time you avoid the work, she fades a little. The version of you you're trying to become is waiting, and your excuses are the wall between where you are and where you're meant to be. It's not the failure that hurts most. It's knowing you didn't even try. Excuses create the illusion of effort without actual action. They keep your image safe while your potential dies in silence. But potential means nothing if it's not used. And dreams without work become nightmares of regret. The truth is harsh. No one is coming to save you. No one's going to force you to grow. That's your job. Excuses feel like rest, but they're really rust. They keep you in place while time moves forward. And when you wake up, nothing's changed, except the weight of what you didn't do. You can't build a strong life with weak language. Excuses weaken your discipline, soften your edge, and delay your destiny. You need words that push you, not protect you. Words that challenge you to rise, to move, to act. Replace "I can't" with "I must." Replace "later" with "now." Excuses are cheap. They cost you nothing today, but everything tomorrow. They don't take effort to create, just fear. But destroying them takes courage. It takes a decision to stop tolerating average and start expecting more from yourself. Not someday, not next week, today. Even when your excuse feels valid, challenge it. Say, "So what? I'm tired. So what? I don't know where to start. So what?" Growth doesn't ask for perfect conditions. It asks for effort. Relentless, messy, imperfect effort. You can always find an excuse, or you can find a way. Nobody reaches greatness by accident. Behind every result you admire is a person who made 1,000 silent choices to reject excuses. To do the work, to stay up late, to rise early, to keep going when nothing made sense. Their life is proof of what's possible when excuses are silenced. Excuses are the enemy of action. And action is the only thing that changes your life. Thoughts won't save you. Wishing won't save you. Talking about it won't save you. Only doing will. So the next time your mind tries to give you a way out, give it a reason to keep going. One day you'll look back, and you'll either smile at the results you earned or regret the excuses you believed. Choose wisely, because your future isn't waiting forever. It's moving, with or without you. Chapter 4. Your mind quits before your body does. Your body is built to endure, but your mind is quick to escape. The moment things get hard, your thoughts start whispering lies. "You're too tired. You can't do this. Just stop." But none of that is real. It's just your mind trying to protect you from discomfort. And if you listen to it, you'll give up long before you ever hit your true limit. Most people don't fail because their body breaks. They fail because their mind gives up. Pain makes the mind panic. Fatigue makes the mind exaggerate. But when you learn to separate what you feel from what you can do, you unlock a new level of strength. You realize you've always had more left. You just never pushed far enough to find it. You have to train your mind to stop flinching when life gets uncomfortable. The body will follow the brain. If your mind is strong, your body becomes a machine. But if your mind is weak, even the smallest resistance feels impossible. That's why every breakthrough starts with mastering your thinking. Discomfort is not a signal to quit. It's a sign to push. That burn in your chest, that fatigue in your legs, that's growth in progress. Most people back off the moment they feel it. But the ones who win, they lean in. They know the mind will scream long before the body is done. They push anyway. Mental strength isn't about pretending you don't feel pain. It's about feeling it and still choosing to continue. It's the ability to tell your mind, "I hear you, but I'm not listening." That voice of doubt, that fear of breaking, it doesn't control you unless you let it. You're the one in charge. When things get hard, your mind tries to protect you by making the challenge feel bigger than it really is. That's your survival instinct. But greatness doesn't come from surviving. It comes from enduring. From pushing past the point where most people stop and proving you can still move forward. Endurance is a skill. It's trained through reps of not quitting. Every time you finish a rep when your mind says stop, you gain control. Every time you ignore the urge to quit, you strengthen the part of you that thrives under pressure. And over time, that strength becomes automatic. The real war is mental. Before you ever feel physical pain, your thoughts try to negotiate your way out. You've done enough. You don't need to keep going. But the truth is, that's the exact moment you need to double down, because everything worth having lives on the other side of that resistance. There's more inside you, more strength, more grit, more potential, but you'll never find it if you stop at, "I'm tired." You have to keep moving when your legs shake. You have to push when your mind says it's pointless. That's how greatness is built, not by talent, but by grit. Your mind loves comfort, but your destiny demands challenge. If you let your thoughts guide you, you'll coast through life, never really testing your limits. But if you learn to control that inner dialogue, you'll unlock endurance you never imagined possible. You'll become unshakable. The pain you feel is not permanent. It's temporary discomfort designed to test your will. But most people never last long enough to see what's possible beyond it. They give in too soon. They confuse challenge with failure. But if you hold on just a little longer, you'll break through. Remember this: your body can go further. Your lungs can breathe deeper. Your muscles can endure longer. It's your mind that needs convincing. And once you prove to your brain that quitting isn't an option, everything changes. You stop making excuses. You start making history. The difference between average and elite is not physical, it's mental. Elite people keep moving through the storm. Average people stop at the first drop of rain. The storm is coming either way. Train your mind to walk through it, because that's where your power is built. When it gets hard, don't check your energy, check your focus. Your mind will say you're done when you still have miles left. Trust your training, trust your grind, and above all, trust that you were built for this. Weakness is temporary. Regret lasts forever. You have two choices. Listen to the voice that says, quit, or become the voice that says, keep going. Your body is still ready. The only thing stopping you is the story your mind keeps repeating. Change the story, and you'll change your life. Chapter 5. Motivation fades, systems win. Motivation feels good. It gets you excited. It makes you want to start, but it doesn't last. It comes in waves. Here today, gone tomorrow. And if your entire plan depends on being motivated, you'll quit the moment it disappears. That's why systems are stronger. Systems don't ask how you feel. They just tell you what to do. The truth is, you're not always going to wake up inspired. Some days you'll be tired, distracted, even discouraged. That's when a system saves you. Because a system says, this is what we do at this time, no matter what. It removes choice, removes doubt, and creates consistency, even when motivation disappears. People who rely on motivation stay stuck in cycles, start strong, fade fast, big goals, no follow-through. But people who build systems, they grow steadily, they compound progress, they win because their habits carry them when emotions can't. It's not flashy, but it's effective. Your success is not built in moments of hype. It's built in quiet routines, in the structure you create for yourself. Systems don't just organize your time, they protect your potential. They keep your focus where it matters and block out the noise. That's how real results are made. Motivation screams, systems whisper, and that whisper becomes your rhythm. Wake up, do the reps, eat clean, study, create. It becomes second nature. That's how you turn progress into lifestyle, by repeating structure long enough that it becomes your identity. You don't need to feel like doing it. You need to do it until it feels normal. That's what systems do. They transform effort into habit and habit into mastery. One small win after another, stacked daily, until momentum takes over and quitting feels unnatural. Think of motivation like a match. It lights the fire, but a system is the wood that keeps it burning. If all you have is fire with no fuel, it burns out fast. But if you stack your habits, if you build a routine that supports your goal, your flame lasts, even in the dark. Systems don't have to be complex. Simple is powerful. Wake at the same time. Write down your goals. Block time for deep work. Train at the same hour. Small actions repeated daily will outperform random intensity every time. Consistency over chaos. That's the code. The problem isn't that you lack discipline, it's that you're trying to be disciplined without a system. You're relying on willpower when you should be relying on structure. Create a path where success becomes automatic, because it's built into your environment. The best systems are not built on pressure. They're built on clarity. What do you want? What actions create that result? Now break that down into steps, into time slots, into daily non-negotiables. That's your formula. Follow it. Adjust only when needed, but stick to it. When you don't have a system, every day feels random. You waste time deciding what to do. You burn energy thinking instead of acting. But with a system, you already know. The plan is in place. You just execute. And that execution builds confidence over time. A system makes success boring, and that's a good thing. If you're constantly chasing excitement, you'll miss the value of routine. Boring isn't bad. Boring is reliable. Boring gets things done. And over time, boring turns into breakthrough. Motivation relies on mood. Systems rely on commitment. Which one do you think lasts longer? Which one do you want building your life? You don't need hype. You need habits. You don't need energy. You need execution. That's the truth most people avoid. Stop chasing spark. Build the structure. Motivation says, I feel like it today. Systems say, it's just what I do. The second voice wins in the long run. It doesn't shout, it just delivers. And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. When you're tired, your system is your safety net. When you're overwhelmed, your system gives direction. It's your anchor in chaos. It keeps you aligned when your feelings try to pull you in every direction. You don't follow emotion. You follow the process. People who win consistently don't work harder. They work smarter. They build routines that support their goals. They automate their greatness, not by luck, but by design. Their life is engineered for success, and yours can be too, if you build the system. A strong system keeps your goals alive, even when your motivation dies. It's the difference between short-term hype and long-term results. When others quit because they don't feel it, you keep going because your routine makes quitting harder than continuing. Your system should make failure difficult. It should surround you with reminders, triggers, and time blocks that make discipline feel automatic. If your system makes success easier to do and harder to avoid, that's when you know it's working. Consistency beats intensity. A single intense session does nothing without follow-up. But daily effort, even small, builds power over time. Think long game. Think structure. Think discipline through systems, not through emotional bursts. Most people overestimate motivation and underestimate systems. They want to feel ready. But readiness is overrated. Systems don't wait. They move, they push, they produce. And that production builds confidence, momentum, and mastery. You want progress? Then stop asking if you're motivated. Ask if you've built the structure that demands action. Build that, and you'll move forward even on the hard days, especially on the hard days. Your life is a reflection of your systems. If you want to change your life, change your structure. Don't wait for motivation. Build the machine. Let it run. Chapter 6. Stop negotiating with your weak voice. There's a voice inside you that wants you to stay comfortable. It whispers doubts, excuses, and delays. It tells you to hit snooze, to skip the workout, to do it later. That voice is not your truth. It's your weakness. And the more you negotiate with it, the more power you give it. You don't need to reason with weakness. You need to override it. Every time you pause to debate with that inner voice, you lose ground. You invite hesitation where there should be action. Discipline doesn't argue with laziness. It acts quickly, decisively, without negotiation. Your weak voice doesn't care about your goals. It only cares about relief. It wants the path of least resistance, the easy road, the short-term escape. But that road leads nowhere. If you listen, it will trap you in a life that looks safe but feels empty. You're not lazy. You're just too polite with your weakness. You treat it like it deserves a vote. It doesn't. It's the same voice that's talked you out of progress before. It's cost you time, confidence, and opportunities. How much more will you give it? Every time you let that voice speak, you delay your transformation. You water down your fire. You put effort on hold. But that voice doesn't have to run the show. You can take control. You can silence it. Not with words, but with action. The moment you hear, "Just skip today," is the moment to go harder. That's the test. That's the fork in the road where winners separate from the rest. It's not about feeling strong. It's about refusing to entertain weakness. That's power. Weakness loves negotiation. It thrives in indecision. It grows stronger when you say maybe instead of now. The cure? Make decisions before the emotion hits. Lock in your plan, then follow it like it's law. No more mental debate. You don't rise by being reasonable with your lesser self. You rise by becoming non-negotiable. You rise by telling that inner voice, "I'm not listening today." You rise by doing what's hard, especially when every part of you says, "Stop." Your weak voice speaks in comfort, but your strong voice speaks in commitment. Learn to recognize the difference. One keeps you average, the other pulls you forward. The key is to listen to the voice aligned with your future, not your feelings. That weak voice will sound convincing. It'll say, "You've earned a break. One day won't hurt. You'll catch up tomorrow." But you know better. You've heard that story before. And every time you've listened, it cost you momentum. Winning isn't about feeling great every day. It's about showing up when it's hard, when you're tired, when you don't want to. And the only way to do that is to stop giving the weak voice airtime. Don't engage. Just execute. Your life will change the moment you stop negotiating. The moment you decide that discipline wins, that your habits aren't optional, that your goals are not up for debate. That's the switch. That's the standard. Set it. Live it. You'll never silence the weak voice completely, but you can drown it out. You drown it out with structure, repetition, and action. You make your decisions ahead of time. You build a routine that moves you forward even when your mood doesn't. That voice wants you to delay greatness, to stay the same, to avoid pressure. But pressure is where you grow. Stop fearing it. Stop running from it. Use it. The strongest version of you is on the other side of pressure, not avoidance. You're not a victim of your thoughts. You're the one who chooses which ones to follow. You have the power to ignore the noise and take the next step. And the more steps you take, the quieter the weak voice becomes. Starve it. You'll never become who you're meant to be by listening to who you've always been. Your weak voice is just an echo of your old self, a self that settled, a self that hesitated. It doesn't belong in your new life. Leave it behind. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about choosing strength over softness, purpose over excuses, and vision over emotion. That's the path. That's the battle. Win it one decision at a time. Weakness doesn't leave on its own. You have to outwork it, outlast it, replace it. Every rep, every page, every early morning, that's how you take its place. You don't wait for it to vanish. You build over it. Stop seeking motivation. Seek execution. Let your actions become so consistent that the weak voice loses its influence. Let your patterns be so strong that your mood doesn't matter. Discipline over doubt. Every time. Every time you defeat the weak voice, you build belief. You gain proof. You train your mind to follow through, not fall back. And that belief turns into identity. You're no longer someone trying, you're someone who does. Your destiny isn't blocked by others. It's blocked by negotiations with yourself. Once you end that internal debate, your path becomes clear. Hard, yes, but clear. And from there, it's just steps. Relentless, unstoppable steps. The only thing standing between where you are and where you could be is whether or not you'll stop giving the weak voice a seat at the table. Take your power back. Decide. Act. Repeat. The weak voice doesn't just show up in the big moments. It hides in the small ones. When you choose scrolling over reading, junk over fuel, comfort over challenge. These tiny choices build your life. And if you let the weak voice guide them, you build a life that looks nothing like the one you dreamed. You don't need to feel ready to act. You need to act, and readiness will follow. Waiting until you feel it gives your weakness too much room. You have to create a new reflex, one that responds with motion, not excuses, one that does the work regardless of the mood. There's a version of you that doesn't tolerate the weak voice anymore. That version doesn't explain, justify, or stall. They just execute. They're not superhuman. They're just decisive. And that decision is available to you right now. Think of your weak voice like static, background noise. The more you focus on your mission, the quieter it becomes. Clarity kills hesitation. When you know your why and commit to your path, there's no room left for useless internal debates. Weakness isn't a flaw, it's a default. But discipline is a design. If you don't design your day with intention, your defaults will take over. And those defaults aren't built for excellence. They're built for survival. You're not here to survive. You're here to evolve. Success isn't about massive action once in a while. It's about showing up when it's boring, when it's inconvenient, when no one is watching. The weak voice will always suggest skipping those days, but that's when your foundation is really built. Don't make deals with the voice that wants your potential buried. You can't bargain with your lower self and expect to rise. You either take the stairs one hard step at a time, or you stay where you are, rationalizing why you're not moving. If you argue with your excuses, they win. You can't out-talk the weak voice. You can only outwork it. It lives in language, but it dies in action. The moment you do what it says you can't, you prove it wrong, again and again. That's how you kill doubt. There will always be a reason to quit. That's not news. But reasons don't build greatness. Resolve does. The ones who make it didn't have fewer temptations to quit. They just refused to give those temptations any authority. Every small battle you win with your weak voice builds momentum. One early wake-up, one skipped distraction, one more rep. These micro wins create macro growth. They remind you that you're not your doubt, you're your discipline. The weak voice is a test, not a truth. It's meant to be resisted, not obeyed. Just because the thought appears doesn't mean it deserves action. Mastering your life starts with mastering your response, not to life's problems, but to your own inner pull to stay small. The loudest voice isn't always the truest. The weak voice is loud because it's desperate. It knows if you act, it dies. That's why it gets louder right before you break through. Don't confuse volume for value. Stick to the mission. You must become unavailable for self-sabotage. That means you stop entertaining thoughts that don't serve your future. That means when the weak voice shows up, you don't engage, you override it. With your calendar, your habits, your values, not feelings. The more time you give the weak voice, the less room you leave for growth. It's a thief that steals focus and feeds indecision. Don't let it sit in your mind rent-free. Evict it with purposeful action, and keep it out with structure. You've already heard all its arguments, the same old lies dressed in new logic. You know how it ends: delay, guilt, regret. But now you also know the way out. It's not deep, it's not magic, it's simple. Stop listening, start acting. You can't hate your weakness away. You outgrow it by choosing strength, again and again, quietly, relentlessly, until the weak voice becomes just a whisper you barely remember, a shadow behind the solid wall of your new identity. Silencing the weak voice doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you don't let it decide. It means courage leads, not comfort. That your standards are stronger than your slips, and that your mission matters more than your mood. There's peace in refusing to negotiate. You stop spinning your wheels. You stop wasting energy. You know what to do, and you do it. That clarity frees you. That routine strengthens you. That decision changes you. There's no path to mastery that doesn't involve inner conflict. But the winners don't give the weak voice equal airtime. They starve it. They bury it under discipline. And when they feel it rising, they rise louder. This chapter in your life demands a stronger version of you. One that can say no, not just to others, but to yourself. To the weaker parts, to the tempting shortcuts, to the old identity. You must outdecide your doubt. Remember, the weak voice is not who you are. It's who you used to be. Every time you act against it, you're becoming something stronger, something sharper, something more aligned with your real power. And in the end, it's not about eliminating the weak voice. It's about never letting it lead. You've heard it enough. Now it's time to speak back, with action. Chapter 7. Build habits, not hype. Success doesn't come from occasional inspiration. It comes from daily discipline. Hype is loud, fast, and short-lived. Habits are quiet, consistent, and powerful. If you want to change your life, stop chasing hype. Start building habits, brick by brick, day by day. Hype gets you excited. Habits get you results. Anyone can get fired up for a day or two. That's easy. But what separates the strong from the inconsistent is repetition. Show up on the days when no one claps. Show up when no one's watching. That's how greatness is built. Real growth isn't dramatic. It's steady. It's doing the small things right, over and over, until excellence becomes your baseline. That's what habits do. They take the guesswork out. They replace decision-making with automatic execution. You don't need more intensity, you need more consistency. Hype says, go all in today. Habits say, show up every day. The first burns out, the second compounds. One gives you a rush, the other gives you a legacy. The people who win aren't the most motivated, they're the most structured. Their habits protect them from their feelings. When they're tired, they execute. When they're stressed, they still follow the plan. Because they've built systems stronger than their moods. Every habit you build is a vote for the future you want. It's proof that you're serious. You can say you want change, but your habits tell the truth. If they don't match your vision, you're dreaming, not building. Start small. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. Just one action repeated with discipline, one win each morning, one promise kept to yourself. Over time, that becomes identity. And identity drives behavior more powerfully than hype ever will. Hype wants fast progress. Habits want permanent change. Don't let impatience sabotage your growth. Trust the process. Water the seed daily. You won't see the roots forming, but they are. And one day, the results will be undeniable. When you build strong habits, you don't need to rely on willpower. Willpower fades. Habits automate. You conserve energy because your actions become who you are, not what you force. That's freedom. That's focus. That's strength. Habits don't care if it's raining, if you slept poorly, if you're in the mood. They keep moving. That's what makes them unstoppable. That's why they win. You're not building motivation. You're building a machine. Your habits are either helping you or hurting you. There is no neutral. The question is, are they aligned with the person you're trying to become? If not, redesign them, because structure will always beat scattered intention. You won't always see the reward right away. That's why most people quit. But if you can learn to love the routine, the repetition, the quiet wins, you'll outlast everyone. Hype fades, habits sustain. That's your edge. When it gets hard, go back to your habits. When you feel lost, go back to your habits. They are your anchor, your rhythm, your foundation. In a noisy world full of chaos, your habits create order, and order brings progress. Stop making everything an event. Make it a habit. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't chase high energy. Build a system so solid the action happens whether you feel like it or not. That's how you become consistent. Your environment influences your habits, so set it up to support your discipline. Remove distractions. Add triggers. Design your space around your success. If your environment is working against you, even the best mindset will struggle. Habits are the silent builders. They work quietly in the background, stacking progress you don't see until suddenly everything is different. You look back and realize it wasn't one big moment. It was hundreds of small ones done right. Hype makes noise. Habits make progress. You don't need more noise. You need clarity, simplicity, and repetition. Choose one action. Do it well. Do it again tomorrow, then again, until it becomes a part of who you are. You're already building habits, whether you know it or not. The question is, are they leading you forward or holding you back? Audit your routines. Adjust the ones that limit you. Double down on the ones that empower you. If you want to stay disciplined, make your habits non-negotiable. Put them in your calendar. Tie them to your identity. Don't leave them to chance. Protect them like your future depends on it, because it does. You'll never have a perfect streak. That's not the goal. The goal is resilience. Fall off, get back on. Miss a rep, show up stronger tomorrow. Habits aren't about perfection. They're about persistence. Keep moving. Build habits that survive your bad days. That's how you win. Not when everything goes right, but when everything goes wrong and you still show up. That's real power. That's discipline in motion. And in the end, hype fades, applause stops, motivation burns out, but habits remain. They don't just get you results, they make you someone who earns them. That's the difference. That's the path. Build habits, not hype. You'll know your habits are strong when they become your default response. Not something you have to think about, something you just do. That's the goal. Make discipline automatic. Make excellence your routine. No more negotiations with procrastination. When people ask how you stay so consistent, They won't see the years it took to build it. They won't understand the mornings you showed up tired, the nights you kept going when you were drained. But that's what built the foundation. That's what made it unshakable. The best habits are boring. That's the truth no one likes to admit. But boredom is not your enemy. Inconsistency is. If you can stay committed through the dull days, you've already beaten most of the world. Boring creates brilliance when done right. You don't need to post every win. You don't need to broadcast your routine. Let your results speak for themselves. Quiet effort, done daily, builds a life louder than any words ever could. Hype fades, execution echoes. Habits build trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove that you are who you say you are. That confidence compounds, that self-respect strengthens. That's how you create unshakable belief. There's no timeline for transformation. Some habits pay off quickly, others take months or years. But the delay doesn't mean failure. It means you're building something deep, something lasting. Stay patient, stay locked in. The more you repeat something, the more natural it becomes. That's how the brain works. It rewards familiarity. Use that to your advantage. Train it to see discipline as default. Train it to crave consistency. That's how you reshape your wiring. If you're tired of starting over, stop quitting. Stay in the game long enough to see what happens when you don't give up. The results won't always be instant, but they'll be worth it. Build habits that remove quitting as an option. You're not trying to feel better. You're trying to get better. There's a difference. Hype focuses on the feeling. Habits focus on the future. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you want most. Answer that with action. Even when motivation is high, stick to your system. Don't let emotional highs convince you to break your structure. Overdoing it today and burning out tomorrow is not the goal. Steady wins. Slow and locked-in beats wild and random every time. Habits are the roots of success, and roots grow underground. You won't always see what's happening, but keep watering, keep showing up. Eventually, the growth breaks through, undeniable and unstoppable. You'll have days when everything in you wants to stop. That's the test. That's the moment that builds you. Push through it. Let the habit carry you. You don't need a perfect day. You just need to stay in motion. A strong habit doesn't rely on perfect circumstances. It adapts. It adjusts. If you miss your usual time, find another. If the environment shifts, shift with it. The habit isn't in the time, it's in the act. Do it anyway. What you repeat, you become. That's not just a saying, it's science. Your brain creates pathways based on repetition. Make sure the path you're walking leads somewhere worth going. Habits carve your future into your mind. If you're building for the long term, don't judge progress in days. Judge it in decades. Your habits are an investment, not a quick fix. Keep making the deposit. The compound return will come. You don't have to fix your whole life in one go. Just fix the next hour. Make the next meal clean. Get to the gym today. Finish the task in front of you. That's how momentum starts, with micro-commitments honored. Every person you admire built their success on daily habits, not just talent, not just luck, but a structure so reliable that success became inevitable. Do what they did. Build the process, then live inside it. Discipline is a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets, and your habits are the workout. Every repetition counts. Every day you show up, you reinforce your power. Keep training, keep stacking, cut the distractions that break your flow. You can't build habits if you're always starting over. Create a world that supports your growth. Say no to what weakens your structure. Say yes to the life you're building. When it's hard, simplify. Go back to the basics. Focus on what you control: time, effort, attitude. Let your habits become your compass when everything else is chaotic. They will guide you back to clarity. The hype might get attention, but your habits earn respect. Not from the crowd, from yourself. You'll walk differently when you know your life is built on discipline. You'll talk differently, think differently. That's the power of habits. And when the world forgets the hype, when the spotlight fades, your habits will still be there, still moving you forward, still holding the line. That's what lasts. That's what wins. Build habits, not hype. Chapter 8. Master the boring work. Everyone wants the results, but few are willing to embrace the process. And the truth is, success is built in the boring. The early mornings, the quiet nights, the repetition that feels invisible. If you want to rise, you have to fall in love with the work no one claps for. The boring work isn't glamorous, but it's necessary. It doesn't go viral, it doesn't trend, but it compounds in silence. It's the daily grind that turns average into elite. While others chase quick wins, you build real strength in the shadows. It's easy to show up when it's exciting. It's harder when it's routine, but that's where the transformation happens. When you don't feel the fire and still show up, that's where your character is carved. That's how you earn the life most never will. The boring work is where discipline grows. It's where you train your mind to obey, not debate. Every time you repeat the fundamentals, you tighten your focus and sharpen your edge. You don't need new, you need consistent. Success is repetition with refinement. Doing the same thing, but doing it better. Small adjustments, tiny improvements, day after day. It's not about reinventing yourself every week. It's about staying loyal to the process. Most people quit not because they're weak, but because they're bored. They confuse boredom with failure, but boredom is just the absence of novelty. Stay through it, break through it. The rewards live on the other side. The masters you admire, they mastered the basics, the boring drills, the daily reps, the dull work done with precision. That's what gave them greatness. They didn't rise from excitement. They rose from endurance. The boring work teaches patience. It teaches humility. You learn to stop looking for instant results and start trusting the long game. You stop needing applause and start focusing on progress. Quiet wins build loud futures. Don't chase intensity, chase consistency. Going hard once won't change your life. Going steady every day will. The boring work is your leverage. Stack enough of it, and the breakthrough becomes unavoidable. It's not about motivation, it's about rhythm. Set your system, stick to your reps, and stop needing everything to be new. Simplicity scales. The sharper your focus, the stronger your results. Don't overcomplicate the climb. When you master the boring work, you become dangerous. Because while everyone else looks for hacks and shortcuts, you've built something unshakable. You've built the habit of showing up, no matter what. Greatness is repetition without applause. Mastery is doing it again, even when it's thankless. And that kind of repetition is rare. That's why the ones who commit to it are remembered. Because they kept going long after the hype died. You don't rise by waiting for the mood. You rise by working through it. When the process feels stale, don't run. Lock in. Remind yourself, boredom doesn't mean it's broken. It means you're getting closer. The boring work reveals who's serious. It filters out the inconsistent. It strips away the pretenders. And what's left are the few who grind through the monotony and make it look easy, because they trained for it. There's power in doing the unremarkable with excellence. Because the better you get at the basics, the more elite your results become. Don't chase shiny, chase sharp. Don't chase trendy, chase timeless. Every rep adds up. Every lap matters. The progress you can't see today is building the strength you'll rely on tomorrow. And that's the promise of the boring work. It always pays off, just not right away. When it gets repetitive, that's the sign you're doing it right. That's not a reason to stop. It's proof you're on the right path. Keep stacking, keep refining. That's the grind. That's the game. Discipline is forged in routine. In the meals you prep, the workouts you repeat, the words you write, the work you track. The boring becomes beautiful when you see what it creates, a life of control, clarity, and progress. Stop romanticizing the finish line and start respecting the training. The medals don't matter if the mindset is weak, and mindset is built in repetition, not reaction. Anchor yourself in the boring work. That's how you win. No one is watching when it's boring, and that's the gift. No pressure, no spotlight, just you and your effort. That's where self-trust is born. That's where confidence is earned, not given. If you can master the boring, you can master anything, because the world is built by those who endure. The dreamers chase sparks. The disciplined create flames, and flames last longer than flashes. So keep going, keep grinding, keep repeating the work that seems dull, but builds you in silence. Because one day, the results will speak so loud, they'll silence every doubt you once had. Repetition rewires your brain. The boring work carves new patterns, not just in your schedule, but in your identity. You stop being someone who tries. You become someone who executes. Someone who doesn't wait to feel ready, just gets it done. People underestimate what boring really means. It's not failure, it's rhythm. It's the hum of progress moving quietly forward. When it feels repetitive, that means your system is working. The work isn't stale, it's starting to stick. Doing what works over and over isn't lazy, it's mastery. Anyone can start something new. Few can keep doing the same essential task with excellence. The pros don't look for the next thing. They look for the best way to repeat what matters. There's a calm power in repetition. You stop needing the external rush. You find focus in the flow. The work becomes your meditation, your anchor. You don't need more hype. You need more hours logged in silence. The boring work keeps you grounded. While others burn out chasing excitement, you stay consistent. While they jump from one trend to the next, you're stacking quiet wins. You don't need to prove anything. Your actions speak. Momentum is built through predictability, not randomness, not chaos. When your habits become predictable, your progress becomes unstoppable. And the more boring your system, the less you have to think, and the more you do. It's not that the boring work is unimportant, it's that it's undervalued. But make no mistake, it's the heartbeat of greatness. All flash without foundation eventually cracks, but structure built in repetition, that endures. Even the most exciting goals become routine. That's when most quit. But that's your chance to dominate. When they're distracted, you're doubling down. When they stop showing up, you keep going. That's your competitive edge. Learn to love the simplicity. There's freedom in having a plan and sticking to it. You don't waste time overthinking. You don't chase noise. You execute. That's what separates the disciplined from the distracted. You'll never outperform your habits. And your habits are shaped in boredom. They're not built in the big moments. They're built in the invisible hours. Get those right, and the visible results will follow. The ones who win are not the most entertained. They're the most focused. They do what matters, even when it's not exciting, especially when it's not exciting. That's how you train your mind to stay sharp under pressure. Don't wait for the work to excite you. Learn to excite yourself with the work. Show up with intensity. Bring your best even when the task feels basic. Excellence isn't what you do, it's how you do it. Each repetition you complete is a deposit. It may feel small, it may feel slow, but over time, those deposits grow into something unstoppable. That's the magic of compounding effort. Boring work done brilliantly. You're not falling behind. You're building silently. And when others look confused by your progress, remind yourself, they didn't see the hours, they didn't see the grind, but you did. And that's why you earned it. Mastery isn't built in inspiration, it's built in instruction, in doing what needs to be done again and again until it becomes second nature. It's not about how you feel, it's about who you become by sticking with it. There will always be distractions disguised as opportunities. Don't fall for them. Stick with your process. The ones who chase everything end up finishing nothing. You're not here to chase. You're here to build. The best athletes, artists, thinkers, they all mastered the boring parts of their craft. The drills, the repetitions, the details. You're not different. You're not above the process. If you want mastery, embrace the monotony. You build grit when you keep going with no applause, when no one sees, no one validates, just you and your discipline. That's where your character is tested. That's where your future is shaped. The day you stop needing external reward to do the internal work, you level up. You move from wanting it to becoming it. You're no longer chasing potential, you're fulfilling it. And that shift changes everything. Make the boring work sacred. Treat it like the ritual it is. Every rep, every session, every step, done with intention. That's what turns routine into greatness. That's what separates the legends from the loud. When you finally get the results you want, it won't be a mystery. You'll know exactly how you got there. Through the boring, disciplined, relentless work no one else was willing to do. And you'll smile, because you earned it. So next time the work feels repetitive, predictable, or uninspiring, remember this. The boring work isn't beneath you, it's building you. Master it, and there's nothing you can't achieve. Chapter 9. You don't need more time, you need more focus. Time isn't the problem. Focus is. Everyone has 24 hours. What separates the disciplined from the distracted is attention. When your mind is scattered, even a full day feels short. But when you're locked in, 1 hour can change everything. Most people waste hours trying to do everything, but the real winners do less, with more intensity. They don't try to multitask their way to success. They isolate the target, eliminate the noise, and aim with precision. Your productivity isn't about how long you work. It's about how deep you work. Surface work drains you. Focused work multiplies results. 1 hour of pure attention beats 10 hours of half-distracted effort every time. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer leaks in your focus. Every notification, every distraction, every pointless scroll is stealing your future. If you don't control your attention, someone else will. Train your brain like a muscle. Discipline it to lock in. Turn off the noise. Create a space where only the mission exists. No side conversations, no mental clutter, just task and execution. Clarity is the foundation of focus. If you don't know what matters most, everything feels urgent, but urgency without importance is chaos. Define your top priority, then make everything else wait. We live in a world addicted to stimulation, but greatness is built in stillness, in the quiet focus no one sees. It's not glamorous, but that's where results are born, in silence, in solitude, in sustained attention. The truth is, most of what you think is urgent isn't. It's just loud. Learn to separate signal from noise. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your attention. Protect both like your life depends on it, because it does. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. Start with small blocks. Turn your phone off. Lock in for 30 minutes. Build the muscle, then stretch it. Over time, your focus becomes unbreakable. People don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're distracted. You can have all the drive in the world, but if it's scattered across 100 directions, it won't move you an inch forward. Your time isn't slipping, your focus is. And once you take ownership of that truth, everything changes. You stop blaming the clock, you start mastering your mind. That's the beginning of elite execution. Cut the mental tabs you keep open, the conversations in your head, the endless to-do list. Pick one battle, win it, then move to the next. Simplicity sharpens performance. Complexity kills momentum. Multitasking is a myth. You're not doing multiple things. You're doing all of them worse. Split focus is self-sabotage. Choose one goal, 1 hour, one zone of genius, and protect it like it's sacred. Set clear boundaries for your focus. Let people know when you're unavailable. Block off deep work time. Turn your workspace into a war room. Every interruption you eliminate gives you power back. You're not busy, you're scattered. Learn the difference. Focus forces you to say no to good options so you can commit to great ones. That discipline to narrow in is what creates results most only dream about. Stop trying to do more with less energy. Conserve your power. Direct it like a laser, not a flashlight. Laser focus cuts through resistance. Flashlight focus just spreads light, but never breaks through. Mental clarity comes from physical discipline. Clean your space. Declutter your day. Fuel your body. Move your legs. Focus starts in the body, not just the mind. Respect the machine if you want elite results. The best performers don't get more time. They waste less. They don't touch tasks twice. They don't live in their inbox. They protect their flow. And when they're in it, nothing pulls them out. Your dream doesn't need more hours. It needs more intentionality. Be deliberate with what you allow into your day. Say no more often. Cut quicker. What you keep around you affects what you produce. If your schedule is filled with distractions, it's not a time problem, it's a priority problem. Audit your day. Where does your energy actually go? Until you know that, you're playing blind. Get addicted to progress, not busyness. Focus gives you progress. Distraction just keeps you busy. But being busy feels productive. That's the trap. Escape the trap. Do what actually moves the needle. Your future is shaped by the quality of your focus, not the quantity of your hours. Lock in, cut the noise, and watch what happens when your entire mind is aimed at one mission. The more focused you become, the more dangerous you are. Distractions lose their grip. Opinions lose their weight. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with precision. Focus gives you control over your mind, your time, your results. Time management is really attention management. You can schedule every hour of your day, but if your mind is fractured, your output stays weak. You need to manage the quality of your concentration, not just the clock. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in an hour of deep work. If you want to win, shrink the task, shut the door, and give it your undivided energy. 1 hour, all in. True focus creates momentum. One focused task completed leads to another. Momentum builds discipline, and discipline becomes identity. That's how you evolve, by compounding focused action. Energy leaks through indecision. Every time you hesitate, every time you switch tasks, you lose steam. The cure is clarity. Know your top task, lock into it, and don't come up for air until it's done. Your life is a reflection of what you repeatedly give your attention to. If your focus is on problems, you feel stuck. If your focus is on growth, you evolve. Choose where your mind lives, because that's where your life follows. You don't have to fix everything. Just focus on the next right thing. Win the next moment, the next representative, the next hour. When you zoom in on what's in front of you, the big picture starts solving itself. Clarity kills procrastination. When you're vague about what to do, your brain stalls. But when you have a specific, focused task, resistance shrinks. Action becomes easier. Progress becomes possible. In a distracted world, focus is a superpower. Most people can't sit still for 5 minutes without grabbing their phone. But if you can stay with your thoughts, your plan, your purpose, you're already ahead of 90%. The ones who stay locked in don't just achieve more, they become more. They transform. Because the act of sustained focus rewires their brain. It trains patience, control, and internal power. That changes everything. Build rituals that protect your focus. A specific place, a certain playlist, a morning routine. These anchors tell your brain it's time to work. Over time, they become powerful triggers for deep, focused execution. Every yes is a no to something else. If you say yes to every meeting, message, or minor task, you're saying no to your best work. Get ruthless. Say yes only to what moves your mission forward. The most successful people don't have less chaos. They have stronger filters. They know what matters, and they guard it. They don't chase everything. They move with intention, protecting their energy like gold. Don't just remove distractions. Replace them with anchors. Replace scrolling with reading. Replace background noise with silence. Replace reacting with creating. That's how you reclaim your mind. When you're focused, you don't just work better, you feel better. There's clarity, progress, control, and that mental state feeds confidence. It's not about perfection, it's about alignment with your mission. You train your brain with every choice. Every time you resist the urge to check your phone, you strengthen your focus muscle. Every time you stay with the task, even when it gets hard, you're teaching your mind to obey your purpose. Most distractions are habits, not emergencies. No one needs your instant response. The world can wait. Your future can't. Choose to disappoint the distractions before you disappoint your destiny. Start your day with one win, one task, done fully. That win creates momentum, which builds confidence. Stack enough focused wins and you become unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because your mind got sharper. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Make space for focus. Turn off the noise. Let your mind breathe. The clarity you've been chasing is buried beneath the clutter you keep entertaining. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because your future does. Everything you want is on the other side of concentrated effort. Stop spreading yourself thin. Lock in. Go deep. You don't need a perfect plan. You need perfect presence. Be here. Be now. One task, one mission, one moment at a time. That's how empires are built, brick by brick, with full attention. And when it's done, you'll realize it was never about needing more time. It was about removing the noise, sharpening your aim, and choosing every single day to be focused instead of just busy. Chapter 10. How to stay consistent when you feel like quitting. There will be days when motivation disappears, when nothing feels worth it, when the path seems too long and your energy too low. That's the moment most people quit. But not you, because you don't run on emotion, you run on commitment. Consistency isn't about feeling good every day. It's about showing up anyway, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, even when progress feels invisible. Real growth hides in those moments. The strongest people aren't the ones with endless fire. They're the ones who keep walking when the fire burns out. They've trained their minds to move without excuses. That's the edge. That's the difference. When you feel like quitting, zoom out. Look at how far you've come. Remind yourself why you started. The beginning had a reason. Don't let temporary feelings erase permanent goals. Emotions are waves. They rise, crash, and fade. But consistency is the anchor that holds you steady. It keeps you grounded when the storm hits. It reminds you that discipline is always stronger than doubt. Success isn't about never struggling. It's about never stopping. Even a slow step forward is better than sitting down. You don't have to be fast. You just have to be faithful to the path. The mind will always look for escape when the pressure builds. It whispers, maybe you're not ready, or you've done enough. But those thoughts aren't truth. They're tests. And how you respond determines everything. When progress feels slow, look deeper. Your strength is building, even if the results aren't loud yet. The work you do when it's hard is what sets you apart. That's the invisible growth that shows up later as excellence. Build rituals that carry you when willpower fades. Systems that guide your action without needing inspiration. You don't rise by accident. You rise by design, and that design starts with what you do daily. You're not supposed to feel like it every day. No champion does. They just do the work anyway. That's how you win, not by being hyped, but by being consistent when it's hardest. Consistency is your quiet rebellion against mediocrity. It's what makes you dangerous, not your talent, not your luck, but your ability to keep showing up long after others disappear. The reason most people never reach greatness is because they never stay long enough. They start strong but vanish when it gets dull. The ones who stay, they become legends because they refuse to quit. If you need to, slow down, but don't stop. Rest if you must, but never retreat. Movement, no matter how small, keeps the mission alive. One small action today beats 1,000 intentions tomorrow. Talk to yourself like someone you believe in. Remind yourself that rough days are part of the process, that even when it feels pointless, it's building something. Trust the work, even when you can't see the reward yet. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about return. Missing one day doesn't mean you're done. What matters is how quickly you get back on track. The bounce back is what separates winners from wanderers. Create a version of yourself that doesn't wait for motivation, someone who doesn't need the perfect mood to act. Make discipline your identity, so when the fire fades, your habits keep you moving. Quitting is tempting when you forget your vision. That's why you must keep it in front of you. Write it. Speak it, visualize it, let it live in your mind until it becomes impossible to ignore. The hardest days are the most important, because they shape who you become. When you fight through the drag, the doubt, the fatigue, you harden your spirit, and a hardened spirit can handle anything. Make your environment work for you. Set up your space, your time, your habits, all to support action. Remove the friction. Add accountability. Consistency grows where preparation lives. Track your progress, even the small wins. Momentum builds from awareness. When you see the trail behind you, quitting becomes harder, because you realize you're too far in to turn back now. You'll thank yourself later for not giving up now, for staying in the fight, for choosing consistency over comfort. Every drop of effort matters, especially when it's hardest to give. And remember, quitting won't give you peace. It just delays regret. Stay in motion. Stay aligned. Stay consistent. Your breakthrough might be one more boring, hard, ordinary day away. You don't always need a reason to keep going. Sometimes the reason comes after you keep going. Consistency gives birth to clarity. Keep moving, and eventually the path makes sense. Your future self is watching. Every time you push through the urge to quit, you're creating a version of you that can handle more. Every day you endure, you stretch your limits further than before. On the surface, consistency looks boring, but inside, it's transformation. Every rep, every sentence, every early morning and late night is you becoming someone powerful, quietly, without applause. There's a difference between tired and done. You're tired because you've worked, but you're not done. The finish line doesn't come to you. You fight your way to it. And that fight is fueled by consistency. Quitters restart endlessly. Winners stay consistent. The restart always costs more energy, more frustration, more lost time. But staying consistent, even through low motivation, keeps the momentum alive. Build your consistency around values, not moods. Moods shift. Values stay. If you value growth, then you show up for it, even when your emotions beg for a break. That's how the great ones operate. When it's hard to keep going, remind yourself, this is what growth feels like. Discomfort, doubt, resistance. They're signs you're in the process of leveling up. Don't step back. Step through. Your brain will give you 100 reasons to stop, but it only takes one reason to keep going. That reason can be your future, your family, your potential, or simply the promise you made to yourself. Discipline isn't built on perfect days. It's forged in the friction of the hard ones. When it would be easier to skip the workout, ignore the plan, or stay in bed, but you don't. That's where you separate. What looks like slow progress is still progress. Consistency compounds quietly. Most people quit because they don't feel the result fast enough. But greatness has a delay. Stay long enough to receive it. Stop chasing intensity. Start chasing identity. Intensity is for short bursts. Identity is who you become through repetition. Consistency isn't just what you do, it's who you are. And that identity never quits. Think about what quitting has cost you before. The regrets, the restarts, the lost confidence. You've seen what quitting does. So try something different this time. Stay. Even if it's slow, just stay. When you're tempted to stop, shrink your world. Forget the week, the month, the year. Just win the next 10 minutes. That's it. And when that's done, win 10 more. Stack time, not pressure. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, but you owe it to yourself to follow through. To finish what you started, not for applause, but for integrity, for pride, for peace. Your habits are watching you. Every time you break a promise to yourself, it gets easier to break the next. But every time you follow through, you build trust with yourself, and self-trust is power. Comfort will always tempt you when consistency feels heavy, but comfort never leads to greatness. It just delays discomfort to a later, more painful time. Don't buy temporary relief with permanent regret. Silence the voices that say, "It's okay to quit." They don't live with your dreams. They won't carry your regrets. You're the one that has to live with the outcome. So make it a life you're proud of. There's always resistance right before a breakthrough. That heaviness you feel? It's not a sign to stop. It's proof you're getting closer. Most quit at the edge. Hold the line. Your moment is near. Create a scoreboard for your consistency. Track the days you show up. Watch the chain grow and protect it like a sacred string of effort. Let it remind you, you've come too far to break it now. When it hurts, breathe. When you're tired, slow down, but never stop. You're training more than your body or your craft. You're training your will, and a strong will can carry you through anything. Consistency isn't a sprint, it's a contract, a decision you renew daily. Some days with fire, some days with fatigue, but you still show up. That quiet renewal, that's what makes you unstoppable. And one day, when the success shows up, when the dream becomes reality, you'll know exactly why. It wasn't luck, it wasn't hype. It was because you stayed consistent, especially when it was hardest. Chapter 11. Destroy laziness with daily non-negotiables. Laziness isn't just a lack of energy, it's a lack of structure. It thrives in spaces where there are no rules, no urgency, no clear expectations. To kill laziness, you need non-negotiables, daily actions that happen whether you feel like it or not. Non-negotiables are discipline in motion. They remove the option to slack off. They create mental anchors that say, "This gets done," every day, no matter what. When you build your life around those anchors, laziness can't survive. Every successful person has them. Morning routines, workout schedules, writing sessions, study hours. The details differ, but the principle is the same. Success is not a decision you make once. It's a standard you uphold daily. You don't wake up motivated. You wake up with a choice. Follow your feelings or follow your habits. Non-negotiables take the guesswork out. They say, "This is who I am, and this is what I do." Start simple. Pick 2 or 3 things that align with your goals, things that, if done every day, would compound over time. Then make them law, not preference, not suggestion, law. Laziness loses power when you commit to even one task without excuses. You train your brain to obey, not negotiate. And that habit of obedience, repeated daily, rewires your identity. A non-negotiable is your personal contract with greatness. It says, "I'm not here to coast, I'm here to build." And every time you act on it, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Your emotions don't set the schedule. Your mission does. If you let your feelings run your day, you'll stay inconsistent. But if your habits run your day, you'll build unstoppable momentum. Don't overcomplicate it. Non-negotiables can be as small as 10 push-ups, 15 minutes of reading, a cold shower, a journal entry. Tiny daily proof that laziness isn't in charge, you are. Every day you execute, you add weight to your inner strength. The more you follow through, the less your excuses control you. Discipline becomes familiar, routine becomes automatic, power becomes normal. The key is consistency. Missing one day weakens the chain. 2 days, and the mind starts slipping. 3 days, and laziness is back in control. Non-negotiables are your daily resistance to that slide. When you keep your word to yourself, you build self-respect. That confidence is earned, not spoken. It's felt when you look in the mirror and know you didn't fold. You honored your own standards. Laziness is seductive because it promises rest, but that rest is fake. It comes with guilt, shame, and regret. Non-negotiables protect you from that trap. They give you real rest, earned, not stolen. You don't need motivation. You need rules, personal rules, quiet, internal commandments that say, "This is who I am. I don't skip. I don't delay. I move, even when it's hard." Non-negotiables aren't about perfection. You'll miss a day sometimes, but the goal is to never miss twice. 1 break is human. 2 breaks is habit. Protect the chain. Forgive yourself fast. Return faster. Laziness thrives when you have nothing to aim for. Your daily non-negotiables give you a target, a reason to move. They turn ordinary days into opportunities for excellence. You won't always see immediate results. That's not the point. The point is momentum, identity, mental toughness. You're not just doing a task, you're proving to yourself that you can. When the voice in your head says skip it, you don't argue, you override it. You act anyway. That's what separates winners from wishers. The decision to keep moving when the mind begs to stop. Create a ritual around your non-negotiables. Set a time, a space, a rhythm. The more automated they become, the less energy they require, and the less chance laziness has to sneak in. Hold yourself accountable. Track your streaks. Celebrate your follow-through. Remind yourself daily that you are the kind of person who does what they say, especially when no one's watching. Don't wait for the perfect time. Build your standards in chaos, in noise, in discomfort. That's how you bulletproof your discipline, not in ideal conditions, but in the real, messy grind of life. And every time you complete those daily tasks, no matter how small, you declare war on laziness. You prove that your future matters more than your excuses. That's how you win, one non-negotiable at a time. Laziness is a habit, but so is action. You're not born lazy or disciplined. You train it. Every choice teaches your brain what to expect from you. Keep choosing movement, and laziness loses its grip. Excuses only feel valid in the moment, but they never feel good later. They leave you empty, restless, disappointed in yourself. Non-negotiables give you the win your excuses can't. Each task you complete chips away at your old self, the version that hesitated, that delayed, that doubted. Slowly, your actions carve out someone new, someone unstoppable, someone who momentum comes from thinking. It comes from doing. Start, even if you're not ready. Begin, even if it's small. Laziness dies the moment action begins. It has no power over movement. Discipline isn't about how you feel, it's about what you repeat. The more you repeat disciplined action, the more it becomes who you are. At that point, laziness can't touch you because you don't identify with it anymore. Your morning matters. What you do in the first hour sets the tone for the entire day. Start with something intentional, something that says, I run this day, not my feelings, not my comfort. There's no such thing as neutral. You're either getting sharper or getting softer. Non-negotiables make sure you're sharpening daily. That edge, over time, separates you from everyone still stuck in comfort. Don't try to change your whole life overnight. Change what you do before breakfast, then after, then before bed. Build a framework of small wins that slowly crowd out laziness. You won't always want to do it. That's expected, but you'll always be glad you did. That's the promise of discipline, not ease in the moment, but pride in the aftermath. The more you ignore the voice that says just rest, the weaker it gets. Every time you push back, that voice loses volume. Soon it stops being a shout, then a whisper, then silence. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be consistent. Consistency beats intensity every time. A non-negotiable repeated for 100 days will take you further than 10 intense days followed by burnout. Tie your habits to your identity. Tell yourself, this is just what I do. You don't argue with it. You don't think about it. You execute because you've made it part of who you are. Keep a scorecard, not for the world, for you. Check the box. Track the streak, watch the chain grow. That visual momentum builds belief, and belief keeps you moving. If you fall off, don't collapse. Reset, recenter, recommit. One day missed doesn't erase your progress, but quitting does. Get up quicker than you fell. That bounce back is everything. Your environment affects your discipline. Clean your space, clear your phone, cut your distractions. Make laziness uncomfortable. Create surroundings that reward action, not apathy. Tell people your standards. Speak your non-negotiables out loud. It adds pressure, and pressure creates performance. Let your words trap you in your own growth. That's accountability. Visualize the version of you who never quits, who wakes up, locks in, and executes without delay. Then act like them. Pretend if you must, but show up until it becomes your reality. Time is passing whether you move or not. The question isn't if you'll change, it's how. You can either drift into regret or build into pride. Your daily habits decide. The world rewards execution, not intention. Everyone plans, few follow through. Your non-negotiables make you part of the few. The disciplined, the doers, the ones who don't need hype to act. Build an army of daily wins. Each one stacks on the last. Soon, they form a wall laziness can't climb. That wall becomes your fortress, a defense against every excuse you used to believe. There will always be a reason to skip, a reason to delay. But your future needs you now, not when life gets easier, not when you feel ready. Now your non-negotiables are your way through. You don't have to destroy laziness in one day. You just have to outwork it today, then tomorrow, then again. Keep swinging, keep showing up, and eventually laziness won't even recognize you anymore. Chapter 12. Die with discipline, not regret. Regret is the echo of a life unlived. It doesn't shout. It whispers in the quiet moments, reminding you of chances not taken, disciplines not followed, potential never tapped. Discipline is the antidote. It's the daily decision to live in a way that your future self can be proud of. Discipline hurts now, so you don't hurt later. It demands effort, sacrifice, and patience. But it saves you from the pain of looking back one day and realizing you never truly gave life everything you had. It's not punishment, it's protection. Most people don't fear death. They fear dying with untapped strength, unfulfilled dreams, and unfinished purpose. They fear looking back and seeing nothing but excuses where there should have been effort. That fear, use it. Let it push you into action. A disciplined life is not rigid. It's free. Free from guilt. Free from what if. Free from the chains of inconsistency. When you build discipline, you don't just build success. You build peace. Peace that comes from knowing you did what mattered. You won't always get recognition. The disciplined path is quiet. There are no crowds when you're up at 5 a.m. No applause when you say no to distractions. But those unseen moments are what build a legacy. That's where the real wins happen. Every day you show up, you push regret further away. You replace it with memories of effort, with pride, with a story you'll want to tell, not one you'll have to explain. You're not chasing perfection, you're chasing honesty. The truth that you gave it all. Regret loves laziness. It feeds on hesitation, on the lie that tomorrow is guaranteed. Discipline interrupts that lie. It says, not tomorrow, today. Because waiting is the fastest way to waste your life. You don't need to move fast. You need to move consistently. Speed fades, emotion fades. But discipline, it builds, slowly, quietly. Then one day you look up and realize you became everything you once only hoped to be. Your habits are writing your legacy right now, not someday, not when things calm down. Today, what you repeat becomes who you are, and who you are becomes what you leave behind. There will always be a reason to wait, but the disciplined don't wait for life to be perfect. They move while it's messy, while it's hard, because they understand that real life isn't later, it's now. You won't rise by accident. You rise by intention. Every choice to show up, to try again, to hold the line, it builds a life of meaning, a life that won't apologize on its last day, a life that finishes empty because it gave everything. Fear and failure are temporary. Regret is permanent. Discipline doesn't always guarantee success, but it always guarantees self-respect. And that self-respect is worth more than any trophy. The truth is, you already know what to do. You just haven't done it enough. Discipline is about removing the debate, removing the delay. It's about deciding once and executing daily. Your mind will beg for ease, your body will plead for comfort, but your spirit, your highest self, wants discipline. It wants to grow, to rise, to leave nothing behind. That voice is your truth. Follow it. There is no honor in wasted talent, no legacy in what could have been. Discipline turns potential into impact. It takes the dream and makes it real. And it makes sure you don't carry regret to the grave. You're not here to coast. You're here to conquer. Conquer weakness, conquer doubt, conquer fear, not with loudness, but with relentless discipline, that quiet force that says, I will not waste this life. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough. You need a consistent standard, a line you draw and refuse to cross. That's discipline. It doesn't need to shout. It just needs to show up every single day. There's no peace in a soft life. There's only delay. Delay of greatness, delay of joy, delay of becoming. But there is deep peace in a disciplined life, the peace of knowing you did what needed to be done. One day the mirror will show your final version. Will you see someone who drifted, or someone who fought for every inch? Discipline decides, not intention, not dreams. Discipline. Regret is the bill you pay for choosing comfort too many times. It collects quietly, then all at once. Discipline, on the other hand, is payment up front, but it gives you everything in return: strength, purpose, and a clean conscience. You were not born to repeat tired cycles. You were born to break them, to rise above them, to become someone future generations will thank, because you chose discipline over distraction. So live loud, not in noise, but in effort, in structure, in consistency. Let your daily habits scream what your words never need to say. Die with discipline, and you'll never die with regret. The world doesn't reward your potential. It rewards your proof. Proof that you kept showing up. Proof that you kept building when no one believed. Discipline turns invisible potential into undeniable results. Some people live their whole lives chasing shortcuts, but shortcuts come with hidden costs, mainly your character. Discipline might take longer, but it builds something shortcuts never will: strength that lasts. There's a quiet dignity in doing the work when no one's watching. It means you're not performing, you're becoming. Every private victory becomes the foundation of your public success. Regret doesn't come from failing. It comes from never trying hard enough to fail. Discipline guarantees that if you fall forward, with pride, with intention, with purpose. Every time you push through the urge to stop, you add another layer to your future self. You're not just building habits, you're building armor. Armor that protects your peace, your progress, your legacy. People around you will question your discipline. They'll call it too much. But one day, they'll look at your results and call it genius. That's how discipline works. First questioned, then copied. You'll never regret waking up early. You'll never regret showing up. You'll never regret doing the work, but you will regret the days you let slip through your fingers because of comfort. You don't need to feel like it. You need to honor your word. Your consistency is your reputation. Every time you follow through, you're telling the world who you really are. Laziness pretends to be kindness, to your body, to your mind. But real kindness is discipline. Discipline builds the strength you need to face life without fear or apology. Greatness isn't given, it's earned. It's earned in the early mornings, in the hard choices, in the quiet sacrifices. It's earned when you keep your promises, especially the ones you made to yourself. You can't change the past, but discipline can redeem it. Every disciplined action is a way of saying, that old version of me is gone. This time, I finish what I start. If you want peace, don't chase comfort. Chase completion. Comfort leaves you restless. Completion gives you rest. Deep rest. The kind only earned through discipline. Most people are tired, not from doing too much, but from doing too little that actually matters. Discipline brings clarity. It says, this is the work. Everything else can wait. Don't chase balance, chase alignment. Align your actions with your values. Let discipline become the glue that holds your life together when emotions want to rip it apart. Regret builds in silence. It creeps in when you know you could have done more, could have been more. Discipline is the only shield strong enough to silence that voice before it begins. Make discipline your lifestyle, not your emergency plan. Don't turn to it only when things fall apart. Build with it now, so you never have to rebuild from regret later. The people who live with no regrets aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who made hard decisions daily, who chose progress over pride, effort over ego, work over wishes. It's not about being the best. It's about being consistent. The world is full of talented people with no discipline. But discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. You were built for more than survival. You were built for mastery, for impact, for legacy. And legacy is written in the ink of your habits, the ones you repeat when no one's cheering. Every day is a fresh vote. A vote for your future or your failure. Discipline is how you keep voting for your highest self, over and over, until the results are undeniable. Let your life be a message that says, I didn't wait, I didn't wish, I worked. Let that message echo louder than any words ever could. That's the power of discipline. When your time comes, don't leave with energy still inside you. Leave with nothing left to give. Let the world know you used every ounce. You stayed the course. You died with discipline, not regret. Regret comes from knowing the door was open and you never walked through it. Discipline is the decision to step in, fully, boldly, without hesitation. Because deep down you know the door won't stay open forever. Every day is a gift and a test. Discipline is how you pass it. It proves you're worthy of your goals, not just in words, but in action. It tells life, I'm not wasting the breath I've been given. People think discipline limits freedom, but it's the opposite. It frees you from chaos, from regret, from repeating the same lessons over and over. Discipline gives you your life back, in full. No one remembers what you intended to do. They remember what you actually did. Discipline makes your intentions real. It takes your dreams out of your head and puts them into the world. Excuses are cheap. Discipline is expensive. But one builds debt and the other builds legacy. Pay the cost of effort now, or pay the cost of regret for the rest of your life. You can either feel the pain of pushing forward or the pain of standing still. One hurts in the moment, the other hurts forever. Choose your pain wisely, because one will shape you and the other will haunt you. Every disciplined action is an act of self-respect. It says, I matter, my goals matter, my time matters. That kind of respect can't be given by others. It must be built from within. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Be your own wake-up call. Don't wait for life to humble you. Humble yourself through discipline. That's how you stay ahead, by choosing growth before life forces it. You weren't born to drift. You were born to direct. And discipline is your steering wheel. It keeps you on course when distractions try to pull you off your path. Stop negotiating with weakness. It's had enough of your time. You've already seen where comfort leads, to regret, to disappointment, to empty potential. Discipline leads somewhere better. No one owes you your dream. No one's going to hand it to you. But discipline, that's how you earn it. That's how you make sure the dream doesn't die inside you. The people you admire, the authors, the athletes, the legends, they weren't born special. They just kept showing up, kept doing the boring work, kept choosing discipline when others quit. What you do when no one's watching matters more than what you do when they are. That's your real character. That's what builds a life worth remembering. That's what silences regret. Discipline makes your future self stronger, wiser, prouder. Laziness just makes your future self bitter, tired, ashamed. You choose who you become, one decision, one day, one habit at a time. When the fire inside you fades, discipline becomes your fuel. It keeps you moving through the dark seasons until your spark returns, stronger than ever. That's how you endure. Most people give up because they think discipline should feel good. It won't, not at first, but it will feel right. It will feel aligned, and eventually it will feel like home. Discipline isn't loud, it doesn't brag, it doesn't beg for applause. It's quiet, focused, relentless, and in the end, it always speaks louder than talent, hype, or talk. Your legacy is built in moments when quitting feels easier. Push through those, stack them. They become the bones of a life that stands long after you're gone. The world doesn't need more inspiration. It needs more execution. Discipline is execution. It's the proof that you mean what you say. The proof that you're not just dreaming, you're doing. It's not too late. You haven't wasted too much time. Start now. Build discipline brick by brick. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to refuse to give up. Let the end of your life speak louder than your beginning. Let your habits echo louder than your hopes. Let your consistency write the final line. This person lived with discipline, and they left with none of it wasted. So when the time comes to close your eyes for the last time, may you do so with pride, with peace, with nothing left in the tank, no songs unsung, no strength unused. Die with discipline, not regret. You're not broken, you're just undisciplined, and that can change, not by motivation, but by repetition. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is found in your daily choices. Discipline won't always feel good, but it will build a life you're proud of. So the next time you say, "I'm tired," ask yourself, am I really tired, or am I just avoiding greatness? Now get up and stay consistent. The disciplined version of you is already waiting.